This episode of the Golf Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up with promo code GOLFSGPN for your first time deposit offer up to $250 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code GOLFSGPN. And we're also brought to you by Rhythm. Rhythm's college football and NFL picks and projections are now live. Claim your 7-day free trial by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMN. All right, T-Gens, welcome back. It's your boy, Boston Capper, with the God of Golf himself, Steve Schirmer. I just got done watching golf in Paris, and you hit the big winner, man. Single bullet Scottie.
Yeah, it was nice to be on the right side of Scottie ruining everybody's Sunday for once. It was kind of, it was fun. I actually was allowed to have fun during when Scottie was murdering everybody's Tommy Fleetwood tickets or Rahm tickets. So, yeah, I guess it's kind of weird. I've never hit a golf outright like that low before. So I don't know can you tout it? I don't know.
Single bullet it.
I guess that's the thing. It's plus 450, but I think it's more, you call it your Babe Ruth and you call it your shot. Yeah. You said this is a perfect Scottie Scheffler golf course. I'm sick of seeing him just do this everybody over and over this year. Enough is enough. And the madness.
I'm fucking mad. I'm mad at myself. Last night I was sitting around when Scottie was 11-1. And I was like,
well, that's not even the worst price you could have got on him, or the best price. I saw halfway through the back nine, he was 33-1.
I was like, man, no. I was like, it seems like he's too far back. We'll see. And then, of course, he did Scottie things.
Nope.
What did he shoot today?
He shot 62.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, including a back 929.
29.
Is that pretty good? Is that good?
I think that's good. I think that's good.
Yeah, it's good. Well, so I was bitching about it on Friday because he was missing every single bunny putt. He ended up double bogeying a hole on my way to work, by the way. I was not happy. I almost pulled over into a cornfield at that point. And I think I said, this is what I get. I'm done ever single bulleting something again. And if it just hits, it hits. I'll just try and make money off positionals. Turns out the reverse happened this week. I hit the outright. My positionals were terrible. The only thing that wouldn't hit was a decky. But hey, listen, plus 450, you lay a couple of units on that. It turns into a pretty good week. So yeah, where does this fit with Scottie's legacy getting the gold medal? Maybe we'll transition more meta with the Olympics and golf in general. Does it resonate with you? Does it make an impact, or is it still you're having a hard time coming around?
I don't know
how serious you can take it.
I think I'm undecided at this point. It's cool. Obviously, getting a medal is cool. You know what I mean? You're an Olympic gold medal winner. You know what I mean? But think about all the baseball players back in the day who were studs that got gold medals. We don't think about it. We don't think about basketball players with gold medals. I don't know. It's tough to think of pros with gold medals. You know what I mean? You're a pro. It's a different way. The whole point for the U.S. fucked this whole thing up with the goddamn dream team. The whole point of the Olympics is to put your amateur athletes out there, your college athletes, and you know what I mean? I don't know.
I disagree though. I think this is a test of who is the best in the world. And we should put out the best of the best. And with golf too, it's not like one sport can just dominate. There's plenty of talented golfers and it's very wide open. And I'm in on it. I think as far as its importance in the golf world, I think it's definitely climbing the rankings. I think it's just a notch below Memorial and Genesis and Bay Hill, those big time signature events.
Yes.
It's definitely there. I think the fact that it's every 4 years is a good thing.
That helps.
Yep. I think the fact that so the storyline that there's no prize money available, that's not technically true. Some countries
they win 30 grand or some bullshit.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, these are peanuts. Yeah. But I think for these golfers, though, they're fighting for hardware. And even though there's not a lot of history of golf in the Olympics, there's a lot of history behind winning a medal. And you could see these guys getting pumped and getting into it because there's no prize for fourth place. It really is all just about getting the hardware. And even Hideki was really happy getting a bronze. Tommy, we're going to joke about that, but he was pretty happy getting a silver. It's a cool thing.
Of course he was. Of course he was.
Of course he was. And you saw Scottie, get choked up at the anthem. That was nice to see. It was similar to how, another great player today Novak Djokovic, he finally got a gold medal. That was something that was missing from his resume in tennis. And he finally got it, and he went nuts. He hugged his kid. He was crying. Like, even, I remember in 2016, people were ripping on it, saying, why are we having golf? But I think it's, especially because we've had a lot of packed leaderboards and we've had the cream kind of rise to the top.
Yeah.
This is a premier golf.
You mean
something to win.
You mean silver medalist? What the hell? What's his name?
Rory Sabatini?
Yeah. And CT Pan. You talking about those type of cream rising to the top? Is that what you mean, Steve?
Listen, that was the COVID year. You always say COVID years don't matter. So yeah. But no, I mean, it was a great turnout with
it was. Fans. Fans were good, man. Fans were good, man.
Yep. Of course, them trying to rally behind Victor Perez down the stretch.
Man, I wanted them to fall. I wanted Decky to fall back. Like, I wanted him to fall back. I wanted Perez to get a medal. And I don't like the French very much, but I was I would like to see that, man. What a fucking day for Perez. So
I know.
Yeah, good for him, man.
Did you have taken Perez over Pavon in the tournament? Good.
I did.
Congratulations to that.
The only thing that saved me was the Scottie fucking top 5 bet, because I did single bullet Morikawa, which I regretted obviously immediately. But then yesterday, when my other thing was going to either single bullet Xander or fucking Rahm, I was, you gotta be fucking kidding me. But I hit Xander top 5 first round 3-1. I almost hit fucking 15-1. Bogey free, but he bogeyed 17 on the first round. So I was basically free rolling on the first day. And then I did a whole bunch of, because I got to play 3-ball all fucking week, because every day there was a 3-person matchup. So That was fun. Yeah, I had a fun tournament. That was my favorite thing about the Olympics. I got to do my fucking stupid round 3-ball fucking parlays all 4 days, not just the first 2.
Well, congratulations to you. The biggest winner of them all was you. How about Xander reverting back to a soft Sunday Xander today?
Yeah, it's weird.
He was horrible today. I mean, they dropped him from coverage. I think on 18, I think they just like it was their 18 or 15. They just mentioned in passing, Xander just dumped a wedge in the water. It's like, okay. Yeah, he barely hung on to a T9.
Did you see what Cam was talking about with Tom Kim crying, signing his scorecard?
Tom Kim or Tommy Fleetwood?
Oh, was Fleetwood the one crying?
I don't know. I don't know what he was talking about. I had to put my kid to bed around that time.
I'm going to need clarification on this. Because if Fleetwood was crying, that is unacceptable. If Tom Kim is crying, I think he has to go serve in the military. Kind of a pussy thing, but still.
He's got a bunch of years left. He's fine.
Yeah, no shit. If Benny An hasn't served yet, he's fucking 49 years old and he hasn't served in the military, apparently.
Well, here's what's going to happen. How often are the Asian games? Like, what?
I don't know.
They'll just, him and Ben An will just team up, and then they'll avoid the military service at that point.
Insane.
They'll be fine. So I think the only thing to talk about last is your boy Rahm today.
Yeah,
blowing the 4-shot lead with 9 to go.
Insane.
It is insane. I guess. What's the biggest takeaway from that? Is it really just a year from hell from him? Is he kind of lost his edge? What do you think there? I think
he's mentally, I think we go back to like what, not a consensus, but a bunch of us think, right? Like, he thought he was going to go over to live and he was going to be the one to bring everybody together, and he wasn't going to have to sit in golf purgatory for a year. And now he's sitting in golf purgatory for a year. He was miserable at the start, started getting it together, realizing he was kind of stuck, but I don't know. I think it still just bothers him, and he's kind of reverted back to like young John, right? Where he's like putting so much pressure on himself to win because he only has so many shots at it that he fucking melts. I really think that might be it.
Yeah, I mean the double cross miss came back to bite him. The one that I think scared you off last year from winning the Masters reared its ugly head. Yeah, he was hitting everything left, couldn't peel the ball back, just really sloppy down the back 9 there. So it's just, yeah, you're right. It's a year from hell from him. But I mean, listen, there is salvation. Bryson had kind of a year from hell when he joined Live, and he ended up being fine in the long run.
Yeah, I'm hoping we'll get some nice numbers on Rahm next season.
I think we will. Yeah, maybe Rahm will dip back towards like 20-1 to win the Masters. Then it's just gonna
Oh
alternate
my
like
God.
Scheffler Rahm over and over and over.
Yeah, listen, if you put a 2 in front of Rahm's, I'm taking him every fucking single time, and I won't ask twice. I don't give a fuck what his form is. It's Jon Rahm at 20-1.
I think we got that at the PGA though. A plus 20-1 Rahm.
Nah, did we?
I think we did. I think maybe, you know what though? It was the US Open, I think. Because he had the foot injury, then it dropped.
Yeah. So that's different.
I bet we can get close to 20-1 because
nice.
I mean, so the Live guys, they only got 3 events left, and then they're going to go dark for about 7 months. You might see Rahm the fall.
7?
Yeah, they don't start up again until February. So they got all the fall, February, so like 6 months. I mean, you might see a couple guys play some of the European Tour events in the fall. Like Rahm technically still has a DP World Tour card, so maybe he'll go play the Spanish Open or something. But otherwise, though, yeah, most of these guys are just gonna go away, and you're not gonna know what they're up to.
I mean, it's no different for the rest of the PGA guys. They're all gonna be sit on their ass while we cover this awful fall swing.
I know. Well, I mean, we might see a couple of them in Japan because for whatever reason they're still holding the cash grab in Japan. That's a limited field in the middle of the night. How stupid is that, by the way? The whole fall swing is supposed to be like opportunities for guys to secure their card. And then they throw in this no-cut 70-man cash grab where a bunch of top players go over for a payday and to promote their Japanese sponsors. How stupid is that?
Terrible.
Ridiculous.
Terrible.
Ridiculous. I know. I guess it's kind of sad because like the Olympics was the last like big golf event I was looking forward to this year. I mean, the President's Cup.
I'm looking forward to the President's Cup.
Are you?
Yeah. I'm
you're looking forward to laying minus 250 on the US?
No, I think this and look, maybe, right? Maybe as we get closer, fucking last President's Cup, I fucking bought an entire living room full of party barn furniture, and we all know how expensive that is. Maybe, but I also think there's some live dogs on the international squad where you give me some juicy matchups with some of these soft ass fucking American golfers. Ooh, baby, let's go.
I mean, I will say that the US has failed to cover in like a spread line at the President's Cup every year since 2015 on the road. They didn't cover. Well, there's only been 2, but they didn't cover in Korea. Didn't cover in Melbourne. I mean, they should have lost in Melbourne. So, the Canadian crowds are going to be hyped up. You'll have Adam Hadwin out there and Taylor Pendrith and all these really big bad Canadians. They're going to make the Americans shake in their boots.
Oh, can I just say fuck Abe Answer, by the way? He's the one who ruined fucking 2 days in a row, not being able to beat something named Duo, and I can't even remember who the other guy's fucking name
Marty
was.
Dow, you mean?
Yeah, Marty Dow and fucking whatever. And some Thai guy. Couldn't fucking beat them. 2 days is fucking Friday and Saturday. Ruined my fucking parlays. Cocksucker. They hit the rest of them.
I told you the answer was the wrong Mexican to go with. You should have went with Ortiz this week.
He still should have been able to beat those fucking guys. Sorry ass answer.
I don't know, maybe. So
anywho.
All right. Well, let's put that to bed.
Yep.
Let's talk about the Wyndham Championship. Let's you know what? We won't bring up Google Earth right now. We'll talk about the field at first. So, typically we kind of gloss over because you're big fans. If you are tuning into this, you probably know who's playing. But I think this is more just a general statement about how silly all of this is.
To be fair, I thought the field was going to be worse.
So it's not necessarily the field strength. It's more about how they promote this thing, where they have the Comcast Business Top 10. And the whole goal of that was to basically, it's another way to just funnel money to these guys. And the idea was you might see some of the guys around the top 10 who might want their bonus money show up to the Wyndham, try and get, secure their spot in it. Well, unfortunately, I think only one guy in the top 10 showed up. I think 10 through 16 did not show up. I think Akshay has to win in order to get in the top 10. Sungjae is guaranteed in the top 10. So I don't even know why he's coming here. Shane Lowry's not playing. Russell Henley is not even playing. Maybe he has just too much trauma and scar tissue from this thing. Yeah, it's just, and then you have, the top 70 is kind of intriguing, but if you're around like 75th or so, unless you just take the entire fall off, you're probably not going to lose your card. So kind of the allure of that top 125 cutoff where it's you're in or you're out is gone.
Yeah.
It's kind of all right. Well, you don't make the playoffs. You still got this other events going on. I don't know. It's too bad because I like this golf course. It usually is a very entertaining tournament, but I think it just shows how just the schedule is kind of broken at this point. So
Yeah.
that's my 2 cents. That's my take.
I like it. That's fine. I mean, that makes sense. So who's the top? We got top guy, right?
You got Sung Jae, you got Akshay, you got like Billy Horschel's in the field. It's not a good field. Like Steven Yeager, those guys. Cam Davis.
Is Webb playing?
Webb is playing. Webb finished T5 last year.
I know.
Out of nowhere.
Pretty sure I'm heavy in a matchup against.
Yeah. Listen, you're going to hear on PG Tour Live because Webb Simpson will absolutely be on PG Tour Live this week. That his daughter's named Wyndham. So, be on the lookout for that little nugget in case you didn't know that. So, all right. That's the field. Well, not really the field, but that's just my little spiel about this event.
There's a good clumping of like Keegans and like those type of players. Like, I think Brian Harmon's here somehow.
Yeah, Brian Harmon's here. I don't think Keegan's not here though.
What?
Keegan doesn't play. Keegan don't play this place.
I think Keegan's playing.
I don't think he's playing.
Do you think he's gonna withdraw?
I don't think he's in the field, man.
He's in the field.
Rank. Is he?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I will stand corrected then. I apologize.
No, you're good.
As the official Keegan expert, you should know everywhere he goes. Where he gets his coffee, where he gets his oil changes. You should know everything.
Yes.
There you go. Tunks. All right. Let's pull up Sedgefield Country Club. And here it is. Hopefully, I'm not on a big delay. I turned off every single piece of streaming equipment in my house to make sure we don't do that. So this is Sedgefield Country Club. This was built in 1923 by the legendary Donald Ross. Now, it was a longtime host of the Greater Greensboro Open, which is what it was called for years, like probably 50 years. And it bounced around between this place and another place. Well, unfortunately, kind of like with a lot of Ross courses, like you saw this with Detroit Golf Club, because it's parklands, you really need to just keep up with the maintenance. Otherwise, it really just kind of goes to hell very quickly. It's very narrow. You're going to have a lot of overgrown vegetation. It's kind of what happened to this place. Got very tired. So they stopped going to this golf course for the Greater Greensboro Open in 1976. Went somewhere else. But in 2007, Chris Spence came in and decided to completely restore the golf course to its original Donald Ross roots. And he did a hell of a job doing it. So good that he convinced the PGA Tour to bring back the Greater Greensboro Open to Sedgefield Country Club. And then they renamed it the Wyndham Championship and has been held there ever since. This is now the 17th year of the Wyndham Championship at Sedgefield Country Club in its new reincarnation. So I'm not going to show you the entire golf course because honestly, while I like the golf course, I think it presents a lot better on television than it does with just the Google images. And like just going through each hole, it's going to look kind of boring. It looks much better on TV, but plays much better on TV. I just want to kind of show you just a couple holes that kind of hammer home like the Donald Ross characteristics of it, how guys attack it, and then I'll go over the closing stretch of holes because I actually think that's pretty good. The closing stretch. So let's go to hole number 2 here. So this is just a classic positional Donald Ross par 4, 442 yards, dogleg right. You got a couple bunkers over on the right here. I'll zoom into the bunkers a little bit. A lot of Donald Ross style bunkers, very narrow, steep grass faces. So if you're in them, if you're on maybe the extreme left side, you have an awkward stance with it. Unlike you see these huge bunkers where guys are in it and it just doesn't matter.
This fucking thing is those 3 are not in play.
Well, they're not really in play. I'm telling you the style of bunkers that they are because you see them like in like greenside bunkers. It's similar. Very narrow grass faces. So, but what I want to show you though is so everybody plays this hole positionally out straight because there's a giant ditch right here.
Yeah, I remember that hole. Yeah,
poke. to get all the way out there. It's like 340 yards. But if it's playing firm and you got downwind, you definitely can see guys, and it's a oven out there, so the ball's flying. You definitely can see guys fly it, bounce into the ditch here. So that is a deterrent to pull driver and cut the corner. So everybody plays out over the left, sets out, like a mid-range iron shot. And then, looking at the green here, there's some tight Bermuda lies that feed away from the green here. Like this isn't very narrow. For classic par 4, Donald Ross type par 4. And then the next hole, 174 yard. These, Donald Ross is really good with these mid-range par 3s. This is another example of that. We saw a couple of those at the Detroit Golf Club. Here's an example here, 174 yards, but it's got all the classic Donald Ross tropes, severely sloped back to front green, tight Bermuda lies that repel off the green here, and it's heavily guarded up by the putting. Pretty classic Donald Ross par 3. So let's zoom back over to the 15th because apparently my stream is glitching and what I did didn't work. So let's go with the closing stretch at Wyndham because it actually is pretty exciting. There's a this par 5 right here that definitely some car crashes or eagles. So you got a ditch bypass the fairway here. You got a big bunker that's about 343 out, but if it's playing firm, you might see guys roll into it. Oftentimes, a penalty by going over here. And then you got the approach shot. You have a lake over to the right here. A couple bunkers here. It's definitely a hole where you can get a birdie down the stretch in order to kind of keep up, or you can ruin your tournament here, or end it early. 16. This is actually, I guess, their part. And you usually see people like playing volleyball, and there's like a tiki bar and stuff. I guess Liv stole their idea here for this. 17. You can't really see it from Google Earth here, but the fairway runs severely 18, just a really ball buster par 4. 507 yards, goes downhill, then back uphill. There's again a little ditch that bisects the fairway. It's not really in play. It's like 350 out. But if you're in this thick Bermuda rough here, it's really hard to get to the green. The greens are really tricky to putt on as well. That's Sedgefield Country Club kind of in a nutshell as far as like everything. I don't need to show you every single hole. You kind of get the gist of what it's all about just looking at that. So let's get rid of this because it's giving my computer cancer. And let's go to GCSA. So let's just go over some nuts and bolts of it. I mentioned, is the stream fixed, by the way? Am I doing a little better now? Okay.
Yeah, you're good.
Donald Ross.
We'll figure this out. We'll figure it out.
We're going to have to. I don't know what the hell is going on. So Donald Ross built in 1926. Chris Spence renovated in 2007. Average green side about 6,000 square feet. That's about PGA Tour average, but with the Ross characteristics of it, they can play a little, smaller with the shelves and ridges, all that stuff. Yeah, and then as far as agronomy goes, wall-to-wall Bermuda. So Bermuda fairways, Bermuda rough. It's got champion Bermuda grass greens as well. So there is subtle differences between like champion Bermuda and like a Tiff Eagle Bermuda. You see some other places. So champion Bermuda, it's a little grainier, kind of rolls like a true Bermuda, like
like down here.
Look. Yeah, like you gotta look at the grain. It's not Tiff Eagle is definitely a little. It's like a hybrid Bermuda strain. It definitely rolls a little truer. It's kind of why you see some of the West Coast guys putt a little bit on Tiff Eagle because it's not as grainy. Like it's not as grainy as the other stuff. Yeah, it's also easy to overseed the Tiff Eagle with Poa Trivialis. So, but other PGA Tour golf courses with this champion Bermuda grass, TPC Southwind, which we'll see next week. East Lake in a couple weeks. That has champion Bermuda grass. Country Club at Jackson. That's champion Bermuda grass. Also like a fake Donald Ross type golf course. So, some similar characteristics to it. You have Pinehurst number 2 is Champion, which those greens are definitely a lot different than these greens. Those are turtleback, really slick. Now these greens can get kind of baked out too, but not really comparison, even though they're raw greens. Those are way different. But as far as the agronomy goes, it's the same type of grass though. So that might be something to look at for this week. As far as the yardage, par 70, 7,131 yards, around about 12.5 plus in the simulators. It says plus here because they do a really good job setting up this golf course where they let it, as long as the weather permits it, they let the greens get faster and faster and firmer throughout the week to where, the guys are really putting defensively by Sunday and they get really slick, especially if you're like pin high. It's a big breaking putt, or if you're above the hole, guys are like breathing on the putt in order to get it there. So go ahead.
So when I think of this place, I just think of on their greens. I just think of the guys that have to go out there with the leaf blowers because I always feel like there's so many like pine needles and leaves on the green. Do you remember what I'm talking about? I think it was like 2 years ago. It was like a giant problem.
Yeah, possibly. So yeah. I know they have to do it at Memorial because the cottontails explode.
Yeah.
Annually, then they have to blow it off.
Yeah.
But
I'm getting a huge rain band right now too, so I don't know if that's gonna affect anything. It sounds like whatever. Armageddon on my roof.
All right, well, whatever. Just sit back and let me wax poetic about the Wyndham as your house falls apart. In is it called Debbie? This one?
Yeah, Debbie. God damn it, Debbie. It's just gonna be fucking rain. Like it's a cat 1 at best. Like I don't even leave my house for a cat 3. Like it's gonna be a cat 4 for me to consider taking my animals and all my children away.
All right. So let's get rid of this. Let's go over past the leaderboards. So last
fucking Glover. Unbelievable. That sweaty motherfucker.
I know. So here's the thing. So I bet Billy Horschel again, despite what happened back in 2021, I think when we first started doing this, or 2020.
Yeah,
that's when this was the first tournament we even covered.
It is the first.
We both bet Billy Horschel at 40-1, and he was up, I think, 2 on the back 9, and then he 3-putt a hole, and fucking Jim Herman of all people took our money. Yeah,
he had to be 500-1 that week. Fucking Herman.
Nobody
on planet Earth had that fucking guy.
No, easily 300-1. That week. So that was the first taste of heartbreak we've had of many on this show. But
we set the tone early.
Yeah, but I decided to go back to Horschel because he was playing like crap all year. Like, remember he shot like 85 at Memorial and cried.
Yeah.
Well, he finally played good at TPC Twin Cities a couple weeks before that. So I'm like, all right, maybe Billy Horschel's starting to peak. So I bet him. And he was actually co-leading heading into the final day, and then shot a final around 72. Yuck. Ugh. So that wasn't great. You also had another Russell Henley blown lead, I think, down the stretch.
Yeah, no way. Really, Henley blew a lead? So weird.
Yeah, that was another traumatic experience for me that week.
Just stop betting on Henley, and it will stop happening.
Well, he's not in the field this week, so I don't have to. So, and then the last 2 years, I haven't covered this tournament because we had stuff going on in 2022, and then I had the kid last year, so I took a little break from the show. So I didn't have to have all this trauma happen to me. So I guess every time I cover this show or this tournament, something terrible is going to happen to me. So stay tuned.
Having a kid is not terrible, Steve.
No, as far as like this tournament in general. Okay, like every time I actually go on the show and talk about it, something terrible happens. So I don't know. Maybe I should plan some major life events so I don't have to have so much stress. I can just be stressed about what's ever going on and not the stupid golf tournament. So, anyways, Lucas Glover won in 20 at minus 20 year before. For that was load up.
That's not loading.
He won this.
Well, that's right, Tom Kim. That's right. Yes.
Remember what he did his opening hole?
Double bogeyed.
No, he had a quad quadruple.
Oh, it was a quad? That's
It's
right.
a quad. So here's the thing. I actually bet Tom Kim in this tournament.
Yeah.
And, because it was just the shadow card at this point. So wasn't doing any content. And I remember he quad throw me home. Like, well, that's what I deserve. And then on Sunday, I actually saw a movie and just thinking he was kind of out of it because what was he going into? He was all right. So he was T3, but then he fired a Sunday 61, and I fired up my phone after the movie, and he won. I was like, oh, that's great. So again, I can't cover this tournament.
Yeah, no, don't cover it. So I don't know. This is weird. This is the same. I think I hit Percy first round leader here after talking to him. It was right after the Cam Smith.
No, so he almost got it.
That's what
Immortal John Huh. He got it.
That mall naughty too. Gross. Aaron Wise. Oh, where did you go, buddy?
This is a bad field.
Gross. RCB.
Awesome.
Holy shit.
My favorite Whippy Boy T5.
RCB didn't go to live. Where is he?
He's back on He's on the DP World Tour again.
Oh,
he should go to live. He's a name. They pay him.
Yeah.
So
he's a name.
Well, anyways, I'm not gonna go through because apparently my computer doesn't like this. 2021 Kevin Kisner won.
Yep. 2020 was posted.
So
yep.
Yeah. So here's the thing. So 2021 was Henley blew it.
Yep.
Blew it down the stretch. I also had Kevin Na as well, and he lost in the playoff. But here's the thing, though. I did shadow bet Kisner after he got to a good start at 30-1 live. So it ended up being okay. But I still wanted Henley to just win because I had more money on that. And it wasn't great. And then 2020, Jim Herman wins over Billy Horschel. 2019 was a posted year, actually.
Posted.
So, yep. So, all right. So let's get rid of this. Let's go to the course table. So let's talk about the various components of Sedgefield. What's that? Did you say something?
No.
Okay. All right. So
Alex Smalley's a local boy. Interesting. I didn't know that.
He is a local boy. That has been a prevailing narrative for a couple of years and hasn't really worked out all that.
I'm sure I played it and heard it at some point.
Of course you have.
I love walking down the street.
Little known fact, Alex Smalley is actually born in Rochester. And then he hightailed out of here for North Carolina, went to Duke. So, probably smart.
Oh, that's right. He's the Duke cat. Oh, yeah.
He's the Duke guy.
Gross. I don't root for people from Duke, even though Jason Tatum's from Duke.
All right. Let's talk about all the areas off the tee, approach, around the green, putting, as far as the difficulty and what this place offers to it. So, not a typical ball striker's golf course in general. No. So, it is 67th out of 92 golf courses in terms of off the tee difficulty. Not a ton of difficulty as far as every single year. Last year was 24th out of 45th, 28th out of 30th, 38th. So, let's look at some of the driving stats, though. So definitely a lesson driver golf course, positional golf course. Average drive is about 286, and that's been pretty consistent through the years too. So even with the advancement technology, guys are still clubbing down. I showed the example of hole number 2, positional hole, especially a lot of these par 4s. Some more positionals. Despite all that, though, even though it's narrow, 30-yard fairways, the average driving accuracy rate is about 62%, about middle of the road. So. But because
I heard they grew up real quick. Do you know if they grew up the rough this year? I heard they grew it up a little bit.
So here's the thing: the GCSAA they don't have their current spreadsheet out. So that was last year's. So they might have, but I remember them growing out the rough at Waialae, and it didn't really do anything.
Not make a difference, yeah.
No, it didn't. So I'm not really going to worry about that all that much. It's not really going to change how these guys attack it anyways. It's still going to be a lot less than drive accuracy rate about 62%. However, though, even if they grow out the rough, this always was actually one of the highest golf course for penalty for missing fairways.
Really?
So, yeah. So since 2018, and credit to the superintendents, they've done a really nice job kind of toughening the golf course through the years. making little subtle changes, tweaks to the setup. And since 2018, it's been inside the top 10 or top 8 actually in most penal places to miss a fairway at. So
that's weird.
a
I would
little bit
have
is
never
with,
thought that. I would have never thought that.
yeah. So it's the difference in score on the hole between if you're in the fairway and you're not in the fairway, and it's about a 0.4 stroke difference. Now this place plays under par traditionally, so it probably just means if you're in the fairway, you're probably going to make a birdie, and if you're not, you're probably going to make like a par, maybe a bogey. Like it's hard to kind of make it's not hard to make bogeys here, but this is a golf course that even though it is relatively easy, there is a penalty for missing a fairway. So rough, what Bermuda rough. It's if
Nightmare.
you're in it,
Nightmare.
You don't really know how the ball's going to come out. It could come out dead, come out hot. You fly the pin, fly the green. So
and you think you have a good lie, and you don't.
Right. It just comes out and just doesn't go anywhere. Or you think it's a terrible lie and it's a flyer and it goes way over. So that's part of why there's a penalty for missing fairways, because if you're in the fairway, you definitely go pin hunting and get a birdie. If you're in the rough, though, it's really hard to do distance control at this point. So you might still hit the green. You probably are costing yourself to go look at birdie, though. The non-rough penalty, there are some areas with some, like water hazards out of bounds. That's what this covers too. Also, the fairway bunkers, the one I showed you, even though it's not in play, it can be kind of awkward with the stance with it because they're narrow, they got the steep faces. So if you're up against a face, you might be able to not take the club you want. So there's a penalty right there as well. So overall, though, the green in regulation rate is 76% here. So it's not like there's a giant penalty as far as like what you actually can do. It's not going to cost you like a bogey, but it basically costs you a shot at a birdie by missing a fairway here. That's what that's about. And and birdies are basically the name of the game this week. So you don't want to do that.
Glover was over or sub 20.
Yeah. So I think 6 of the last 7 years has been 20 under or better. Now, the thing is that the average scoring has actually gone down and harder over the years, but the winning score has always been about 20 under.
Okay.
So part of that also too is like the fields are definitely way worse now. That's part of it.
Yeah.
But they do try and set up a little tougher. But as far as winning score, though, it's target 20. And so you got to hit a lot of birdies, basically. All right. How about approach play? This is actually one of the easiest golf courses for approach shots. This ranks 91st out of 92 as far as difficulty.
Yeah.
And biggest reason why is, this is kind of highly correlated with a lot of golf courses that have a lot of short approach shots.
Generally, they're taking it down. They're fucking flip wedge in on every goddamn hole almost.
Almost. So there's a higher concentration of shots from 100 and 175, like way more. There's also a higher concentration between shots between 200 and 250, but those are mostly confined to par threes, which it's a tee. That point's a perfect lie.
Right.
And par fives, which are very gettable.
Yep.
So those aren't all that challenging in just a vacuum. And most of the par fours are very short to mid irons. And usually when you get a lot of those types of golf courses, their ranking as far as difficulty is not going to be all that difficult. So these are fairly larger greens. So it's 6,000. Well, not larger, but like their average size. So 6,000 square feet.
Yeah.
High green regulation rate, about 75, 76% every single year. Well, I actually give you the values. Yeah. So last year, 72%, 73, 73, 73, 74, 75, 75. It's one of the highest green regulation rates on the PGA Tour. Very easy shots from under 150, very easy shots from over 150. But again, though, like I mentioned, if you're in the fairway, it's very easy approach shots. If you're in the rough, though, like this doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like
you're
not getting probably anywhere close to the green. Not scrambling, or just it's a long 2-putt.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, nestled up close. Dirt McGirt. No, Zach Johnson doesn't show up on Thursdays anymore. He stinks. I don't know if you're just trying to make me upset by mentioning his name on this podcast. Love you, Dirk McGrath. You know that, but don't bring up CJ. That tool bag.
All right. So here's the thing, though. It is one of the most, even though it's not a difficult ball strikers golf course, it's one of the most difficult golf courses around the green and putting on the PGA Tour.
Really?
That's the biggest
With
offense
putting?
is greenside surrounds and putting. Yeah. So let's go with around the green first. So again, you've got Bermuda rough around the lot of these greens.
That's fine.
And again, it's fine. Okay.
No, I'm saying like that makes sense. Like
actually,
like Bermuda rough, like that's difficult. That makes sense for me. Like putting, like this place to me with putting, I always feel like I don't know. I guess in my brain, it just felt like it was an easy putting surface.
We'll get to that in a little bit, but as far as the difficulty, as far as chip shots out of the rough, first hardest, fourth hardest, third hardest, the last 4 years. Yeah. So again, with the Bermuda rough, you don't know how it's going to come out, and these greens are very significantly sloped from back to front. So, like, I mean, if you're above the hole, like that could go way past. Dead. Like, it's so hard to control your ball out of Bermuda rough, especially when these greens get kind of firm and fast. So that adds the difficulty. Also, one of the hardest from getting up down from a fairway with a lot of tight Bermuda lies. So even though you can, and with a lot of those lies in the fairway, like sometimes like you might be able to putt back up to the pin. You can't really do that here. You got to pull an iron or a wedge. So that adds the difficulty. Very easy to get out up and down from the bunkers, though. It seems like if you want to miss a green, one bunker.
Okay.
So
I feel like
it comes out a little softer and higher.
I feel like that's a trend. Unless it's like the British Open. I feel like those guys always want to miss in the fucking bunker unless you're really short-siding yourself on a normal golf course. Like I feel like they'd rather miss in the bunker.
No, so I know Greg Norman golf courses because they're really deep and set below the putting surface. And typically where they put the bunkers to, like you're usually short-sided. Those actually have pretty high difficulty of like getting up and down. You don't want to miss a bunker. Here, though, a lot of these bunkers are like short. So you're splashing back up to the green. It's uphill. So that makes it a little easier and to control. It comes out a little softer as well. But if you're trying to scramble from the fairway or rough, it's difficult. The thing is, though, it's a 75% green regulation rate. So it really comes down to first of all, if you are scrambling a lot in this tournament, you're probably not doing well.
Yeah. Dead.
So, but this basically can be a difference between winning and losing a tournament, though. So that's something to keep in mind. And then putting. So 18th toughest on the PGA Tour the last 3 years, 8th toughest, 7th toughest, 7th toughest. So obviously putting on Bermuda, and this is a little grainier Bermuda, that ups the difficulty a little bit. Also, they try and let these greens run kind of fast over the weekend. And with this, the sloped back to front nature of these, if you're above the hole, you got to breathe on it. So that's why it's so difficult. Putts under 5 feet, not that difficult, but putts over 15 feet, like trying to lag putt here, that's a difficulty. And I think that's because like balls can really run past the hole pretty significantly. Especially
if you said, they let it bake out all weekend. By the time Sunday comes around, like you said, if the defensive putting from 15 feet trying to lag it and it goes 7 feet by. Oof.
Yeah, I forget which hole it is, but there's a couple holes where if you're above the hole, it's not, you're going to run it past like 6, 7, 8 feet. It doesn't really matter what you do. So it's that at that point. Yeah, so it's that what I'm talking about. But guys can hit 5-footers here pretty easily. So that's not a big deal. But it's really the lag putting. That's the difficulty. All right. So that's the course table. So kind of like, that's why I didn't have to show you a lot of the Google Earth. A, because it's glitchy and we got to fix that. B, I kind of just described it through data as far as how the golf course plays. All right. Course fit tool. I don't want to like Golf National. That might be, other than the French Open. Other than the French Open, I can see that much again. All right. This is the course fit tool. So obviously we talked about a big penalty for missing fairways. This is a narrow golf course, positional, not very long. So probably no surprise when you were looking at leaderboards. high correlation of guys that tend to drive it and hit a lot of fairways do really well here. Low correlation of distance. Now, a part of that also is the field composition. You're not going to have the elite of the elite here. And those guys generally hit it the farthest. They don't really care where it goes. This field is usually comprised more of your shorter, accurate hitters anyways. So there's a higher volume, but the golf course does lend more success to those guys anyways. So that's why you see a skill set chart like this. And there's actually a lower correlation with how well guys do putting coming in versus their success. And it's kind of a mixed bag. So JT Poston, Kevin Kisner, those guys really good putters.
Yeah.
No surprise there.
No.
But then you have Lucas Glover, who's one here. And he just got hot with the putter, but he's a terrible putter. Henrik Stenson is one here. Henrik Stenson's one here. Very inconsistent putter. Ben On has done well here. We all know if you've ever bet on Ben On, he cannot make a putt under 5 feet when it matters.
Yeah, you can't turn away from your 3 feet on your PGA Tour app and just be like, oh, he's making that. No. You have to sit there and wait for the fucking update.
Now that was actually the Sepp Straka experience this weekend, by the way.
Oh,
he missed so many putts under 5 feet this week, and then he just checked out over the weekend.
Can we address what a coward Matt Fitzpatrick is for playing bad at the Olympics and fucking withdrawing?
I think that was actually probably legit.
Legit what?
Legit injury.
Oh, okay.
Have you seen how he's played?
He's always give him a fucking pass.
No,
so they don't play. Are you hurt or are you injured? Right? That's what coaches used to tell us, right? Are you hurt or are you injured? You're hurt, you can play. You're injured, you can't play. Don't get out there and don't play.
Okay, all right. So all right, fine. Let me so if he's already out of a medal competition, he's already injured. He's got the FedEx Cup playoffs coming up.
Pride.
Like what? Pride. Okay,
Pride.
You probably you could say that. Fine. Have you also seen the way he's played this year? He's playing terribly. He's probably injured.
Yeah.
Well, he's probably hurt.
He stinks.
He's playing horrible.
The worst U.S. Open victory that I'll ever see in my life. And
I don't know. Wyndham Clark. Kudos to him, by the way. He fought back after getting dunked on Thursday. Like everybody was ripping.
Yeah, I know. How about that? I had him. I had him today in my fucking 3-ball. Thank you very much. I'm getting pretty good.
That might be a guy we want to watch over the next couple of weeks. To maybe like vengeful Wyndham Clark. Everybody thinks he stinks.
Yep.
Because maybe people are going to check out on like that top 10 that he had.
So what's funny is I think CP said it. He's like, everybody is going nuts on Thursday. Like, everybody relax. He's had 2 top 10s in the last 3 stats. Like, what's going on?
Yeah, I know. But I think everybody it was mostly the Bryson Bros were mad, which I don't know how that would have went for Bryson this week. Didn't go. I mean, I saw a lot of less than driver off the tee, and that was at True, and he did terribly there. So
it's true.
Maybe it wouldn't have gone great for him here. All right.
Anywho,
so comp courses, though, that's something to really look for. Is there's like the guys who do well here, and you're gonna look at some of the comp courses based on what DataGolf says. Not surprised.
Yep.
Sawgrass, River Highlands, Innisbrook, TPC Twin Cities, East Lake, Murfield Village, Session.
Innisbrook is weird to me. Innisbrook plays way harder than this fucking place.
It plays way harder, but it takes driver out of your hand a lot. It's definitely more.
And it's Bermuda. Yeah.
Well, it's the overseated Bermuda,
yeah.
But positional golf. You know, there's a little bit of elevation change here. There's a little bit of elevation change at Innisbrook too. Pretty narrow. Yeah. So same types of guys do well at Innisbrook and do well here. Concession. You got your Royal Troon, Sea Island, TBC Southwind, Mayakoba, Harbor Town. So like Golf National, which so you're targeting those types of golf courses this week.
Yeah.
As far as like your comp course, it's very easy. It's very easy to cherry pick a lot of guys who've done well here. It's like, oh, they've done well here and here and here. So
yeah.
All right. So that's that. Let's go to the course history for a second. And actually, why don't we close on this? Because we already did the approach shot stuff. So it's just going good here. So minimum 8 rounds. Yet Sung Jae is the best guy. about
which is
plus
insane.
2.1 strokes per
I
round.
figured Webb would have
Sam
been on top.
Burns. Well, I mean, Webb's has that WD here that dings in. Webb also has like a lot of his. He's got
that. Do you remember that was after lock? That was after lock on DraftKings.
I was off then, so I don't really remember that whole.
It was after lock.
I vaguely remember.
Twitter DFS lost their ever loving fucking minds. It was great.
Why chalk Webb cost everybody?
Yeah, exactly right.
Was he even playing? He's probably playing like garbage then, anyways.
But that was always the question. I mean, look at those. He was playing well, and coming into any of that shit. And it was always, do I play Webb or do I not? He's 40%. Do I roll the dice? And every time you roll the dice prior to that, the last 3 years, you got kicked in the balls. So people finally, I think, were like filing him in, and then he WD'd. It was great.
Surprising one here. Cam Davis is really good here.
I know.
So it's only 3 appearances, but I mean, like, T22, T15, T7. So like relatively like good. Like in the strokes gained is good, but like, he's only got 1 top 10, but solid or surprisingly big bomber. But he's been really good at like these kind of tracks with a lot of shorter irons.
Courses. Yep.
Shorter courses for whatever reason. Crazy. I mean, Cam Davis should be a lot better than what he is, but he's good at these pipsqueak golf courses.
He needs to get a better mentalist.
But I'm worried the hypnotism might have wore off on him because he was not very good at Troon. Yeah. Did he play TBC Twin Cities? I forget.
Yes.
I don't know. All the shit events blur together at this point.
I know, for real.
All right. Russell Henley.
Yeah.
Look at these results. T9, T7, T5, T2. He's getting closer to a win, guys. But he's not playing this week, so it doesn't matter. Taylor Moore, another bomber, T5,
weird.
22, but he's really good on some of these shorter golf courses too.
Yeah.
So Ben on third in 2019, T2 last year. Then he got a bunch of guys who just don't play golf anymore. Billy Horschel. Well, they do play golf. They just play golf on the Live Tour.
Right.
Billy, really good results here. Kisner, who's no longer really a golfer.
Siwoo. Going the wrong direction.
Before this was his. Yeah, he's got a win over here. Yeah, he's got a win over here, and then a 5th, 3rd, 2nd. Denny McCarthy, surprising, he's been all right here, although cut the last 2 times. Alex Smalley. By the way, horse for course member Alex Smalley, T29, T13 cut.
Mm-hmm. He had too many at the clubhouse the night before.
Yeah. Your boy JT Poston, a win, cut, T21, T7. So I just named a bunch of pipsqueaks basically.
Yep.
We're good on Bermuda golf courses, go with the shorter irons, can make a lot of birdies, roll the rock. Even though putting is not very correlated skill set here, like Glover was riding a hot putter, so I don't even count that. I think Stenson was putting well when he won, so I don't count that either. So like, if you're gonna win this week, you gotta make a lot of birdies. And chances are, if you're a really shitty putter, you're going to miss those birdie putts.
Correct.
So that's really all. That's really the name of the game this week. Keep in the fairway. Target some good Bermuda putters. Target guys pretty good with their short to mid irons. And score. That's it.
Yep. Easy game.
All right. Very easy game. Hey, listen, I had 2 outrights in a row, and I've got 3 in the last 5 tournaments. So we're okay. We're doing all right. We're making a late push in the season.
We are. And we haven't hit. We hit Vegas together. Other than that, we've alternated. So, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. I didn't release the card, but I had Thompson, the John Deere. You had Bobby Mack at Scottish. I had Bobby. Yep.
We both didn't come close to Troon. But I hit a lot of props that week, so that was good. And then we both hit Vegas, and then I swung both Scotty. So, hey.
Let's go. We got to clean up at the end of the year.
We do.
I gave all of my Bobby money back. All of it on the open. I got fucking murderized. I mean, because I was so cocky going into it.
I mean, I shouldn't really gloat because I most of my money was made off of Tiger Woods' demise. That's never fun. But if you're a book and you're hanging 73.5 on Tiger Woods and difficult scoring conditions on a cold golf course, I'm going to lay 6 units on that. at minus 110.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
all right.
All right.
Anyways.
Well, we will be back Tuesday night. Matt Gannon's got you guys covered DFS tomorrow night to cover all the 6K bums that you'll need in your lineup that'll somehow pop at this place. And then me and Steve will be back to go over hopefully another winning card. Let's keep the hot streak up and beat them fucking Bucks. Let's go.